Hey guys, and welcome back to a brand new video and another episode of my F1 2019 Crewman. We are bashing through these day by day, and they're getting pretty damn fun, and we're getting really into the season now as we get here for round 6 for the Monaco Grand Prix. If you guys missed any of the previous episodes, there's a link to the playlist in the top right hand corner of the screen, along with a link to the previous episode at Spain, the start of the European season, guys, and a big change in difficulty. So go check that video out, guys, before I come back to this one, before we jump into any further spoilers. Now, for Monaco, no rain expected, which for me is good news. I enjoy Monaco in the dry because it's much more of a challenge in terms of getting that perfect lap in the dry. In terms of developments, though, we have 2 reliability upgrades on the car for this race. No performance-related stuff, just trying to improve the reliability of the car, as we've had some issues lately, especially with the gearbox, which is one of the upgrades we've got. And Mercedes remain the top dog in the R&D pecking order at the minute, and a couple of other movements in the midfield there. But overall, we are currently P2 behind the Silver Arrows. But yeah, guys, in the last episode, we went down to 108 in terms of AI difficulty, and we actually kept it at 108 this weekend at Monaco because I did some testing offline just to make some just to make sure what was right and what was wrong. And overall, 108 felt right. Even in the practice sessions, you can change difficulty between practice sessions, and 108 seemed like the right balance again to give us a good race weekend. I'd say the perfect recipe for a good race. So as you can see, currently in practice, and we had a good weekend. We hit the practice programs that we always do. So track acclimatization, race strategy, and qualifying pace were all successful. And overall, we've got a pretty decent amount of points in that, and hopefully we'll spend those sometime soon. Probably not this episode, as I want to try and save up and put a lot of episode points in the bank. But hopefully maybe the next episode we should go for a mass spending spree. But for now, Monaco is really, really good. I really enjoy this game. Graphically, it's a big step up, and the car feels like a right handful around here. But at the same time, it's really fun to drive, and there's a lot more grip around this circuit, especially when you load up the aerodynamics on the car, you load up the wings, and it's a lot of fun, and I really, really enjoy practice, and I'm looking forward to qualifying as well. And hopefully this could be a good session for us. In Spain, the last race, we actually got our first ever front row start. We qualified P2 in that race behind Lewis Hamilton. So hopefully we can try and do a step further today and maybe try and challenge for pole around the legendary streets of Monaco. But we're going to have to work hard for that and make sure we absolutely hook it all up, because it's going to be a tricky qualifying session, and the rules are always there. They're very unforgiving, and one mistake around Monaco can ruin your entire qualifying. So the pressure's on, and we want to try and get a good result here. Obviously, Spain as well in the last race, that was our first win of the season. In many ways, it got our season off to a start, to be honest, because we struggled before that for any kind of consistency. And we only had one podium, and that was in Australia. So again, Spain was a real turnaround in fortunes, and of course we lowered the AI from 110 down to 108, but it wasn't easy, put it that way. We still, we in qualifying we struggled, and we on our best lap we got P2, and in the race we didn't really have the pace, but luckily the strategy paid off. So hopefully here at Monaco we can try and do a little bit better and try and win the race. And in Q1 here, I'm currently on the soft compound tyres, and I'm currently on the end of my first lap on the session. And to be fair, it was a pretty good lap. Overall, a very smooth lap, no mistakes. And just making sure it was an okay lap that was comfortable for us to get into Q2. We got P4 at the time there, pretty decent lap, and a couple of tenths off the top of the table and the top of the timesheets there. But overall, a good session, good Q1 as Sebastian Vettel and Lewis Hamilton get through on the medium tyres. And Lucas Weber actually P1 for the Red Bull team there, quite surprisingly. So maybe Red Bull could be a dark horse in this weekend. You never know, depending on their aerodynamic levels and how quick they are. But in Q2, just like in Spain, I took a risk, and I'm going to try and go through on the medium tyres. So let's stay on board then for a whole lap of the Monaco circuit on these medium tyres, and let's see how we get on. Straight away, turn 1, very nice and tidy, very smooth run through there as we now go up the hill towards Massenet. A little bit wide on the entry there, so I have to be patient to get the rotation through to Casino, and a little bit of understeer kicking in as well there. But now down the hill towards Mirabeau, down to second gear, picking up your apex on the inside, using first gear to rotate, and then down towards the lowest hairpin, again using first gear. The slowest corner in Formula 1, pretty much 35 kilometers an hour around there, really, really slow, as we now go down the hill for the next couple of rights here, which feed into Portier. And here it's very important to focus on your exit and get that perfect traction, because we've obviously got the back straight here through the tunnel, and again that good exit dictates how much straight line speed you're going to have in the speed trap as we now go down the hill towards the Nouvelle chicane, getting those gears sorted out, getting that rotation nicely done through there, nice and tidy. And now we're going to go towards the back, the best corner on the racetrack for me. A little bit too cautious there. I didn't really attack the apex and ran a little bit wide as well, as we now go through swimming pool, taking it nice and easy here because the curbs can spin you off and cause trouble for you. As we now slow it down for Rascas, a little bit wide there again, nice and smooth on traction though, and now into the final corner here. Again, missing my apex a little bit there, but DRS open up to the line. Overall, a pretty smooth lap. few apexes missed and a couple of mistakes here and there, and we go P7, and overall not too bad of a lap. Could have been a bit better, but still tyre wear is the crucial factor here, and our tyres are in good shape. And to be fair, that lap was good enough. Even though we was over a second off the pace, the lap was good. We got through to Q3 in P9 once again, and the good news is that we're going to start the race on the medium, and we're the only person that's going to start the race on that tyre, so that could be a big X factor in the race tomorrow in terms of strategy, and we could definitely, surprise a few people, I think, and be a bit of a wild card. But in terms of Q3, then we're going to go for 2 runs here. My first one didn't go according to plan there. A little bit of tank stuff, like I mentioned before, those curbs.
Taken some minor damage.
Like I mentioned before, those curbs can hurt you, and in that case they did, as I took too much curb on the swimming pool and had to correct mid-corner, and I lost the back end and went into the wall, lost an end plate. I tried to finish a lap and go P7, and overall it was an okay lap, but obviously the mistake cost us a bit of time. But now we're going to run on board for my final attempt here in qualifying, and we're going to give it absolutely everything on a one big fat banzai lap here. Straight away, turn 1, down to third gear, picking up that inside curb, let the car run wide, very close to the wall there, just literally kissing the barrier on the left-hand side. Now up the hill now towards Massenet, down a couple of gears, and then one more gear for fourth gear, mid-corner, and then open up the right for Casino as much as you can on the power, nice and smoothly down the hill towards Mirabeau, down a couple of gears, gear 1 here if you need it to get the rotation. I keep it in second this time, and now down towards the Lowe's hairpin, once again first gear, really attacking that inside curve this time, getting that early turn in, and then now through the next right, a little bit too wide there, should have taken much more curb, with a little lock up for good measure, then into Portier, another lock up there, but keeping it pretty tidy. The lockups aren't that bad in this game, like you do a lot of them, but they don't affect your actual line into the corner. So yeah, overall pretty good so far. Now down towards the Nouvelle chicane, down to second gear here. Actually the back end tried to come around there, the braking, so I had to take a bit of a compromised line, but luckily we sorted it out, and now into the back this time, taking much more speed into there again. A little bit too late on the turn-in, and I missed my apex slightly, but a purple sector too nonetheless, and good pace from us as we now go in towards the final sector. Big mistake there as a little bit of oversteer kicks in where we made the mistake last time, and now Raskas, and now the final corner trying to turn in here, a little bit wide again there, missing my curb and my apex point, but overall a decent lap again here, and up to the line. Do we improve? Yes we do. The question is where to, and it's going to be P4, second row of the grid for us in Monaco, and very close overall. That top 4 covered by a tenth of a second, and Max Verstappen as well getting in amongst it, as did Lucas Weber, and also Lewis Hamilton only P6, Lucas Weber P2, so the Red Bulls very surprisingly good there, and Devon Butler P1. So overall a very mixed grid, what we like to see, and overall the Ferraris lock out the second row there, and overall I enjoyed that a lot. That was great fun. Monaco, always a great qualifying session, and that was no different. But overall P4 for us in the race tomorrow. Now let's jump into it and let's get to work in the race. We've got the medium tyres to start on, so hopefully that will help us out. It's time for the Monaco Grand Prix.
A proper road race, and in the true meaning of the word. That was how Mr. Monaco, the late great Graham Hill, once described this iconic event. The cars we drive have come a long way in the intervening half century, but still we race on those same public roads beside the Mediterranean Sea. There's no victory more coveted than that of the Monaco Grand Prix. The prestigious Circuit de Monaco then. It's not all that dissimilar today to the layout that made its debut almost a century ago. It's 2 miles and 19 corners through the streets of Monte Carlo, and although the average lap speed of around 93 miles per hour is the lowest of the season, the tiny margins for error make it the natural habitat of the safety car. Joining me for the Grand Prix once again is Anthony Davidson. Why don't we kick off by discussing Kevin Magnussen? As ever, the threat of unreliability is never far away, and indeed they'll be starting out of position today due to a power unit component change. So it's going to be a difficult task to move forward from there.
But on the bright side, at least those fresh components can help them maintain the power they need to come through the pack. I expect to see them take a more aggressive approach today to make up for the compromised start.
Before we begin, let's take a quick look at the grid lineup for today's race. Devon Butler put in a fantastic lap yesterday and will start from pole position with Lucas Weber alongside. Moving on to the rest of the grid, we have Vettel, Martinez, Max Verstappen and Hamilton, Ricciardo, Hülkenberg, Grosjean and Sergio Perez, Sainz, Norris, Daniel Kvyat and Stroll, Raikkonen, Albon, Antonio Giovinazzi and George Russell. Magnussen, they've taken a grid penalty, and Robert Kubica takes the last spot on the grid. And now it's time to head down to the track.
Right, here we are then for the Monaco Grand Prix. P4 for us on the grid, and we did our best in qualifying. I think there was a little bit more time on the lap. It was a little bit scruffy towards the end, and maybe P3, maybe P2, but generally speaking, it was very close. And we start alongside our teammate Sebastian Vettel, and he's the current championship leader. And yeah, we're going to see how we go. The target is to try and win the race, of course. It is Monaco, and I'd love to win 2 in a row, but I think the nature of the circuit kind of suits the Red Bull and the Mercedes more with their higher downforce package. But we'll see how we go. In terms of the strategy, I'm the kind of odd one out here because I did my Q2 lap on the mediums, and we're going to go for a very, very comfortable one-stop here today. Mediums onto the hards. I could probably do a one-stop with their softs onto the hards or softs onto the mediums. I don't know what's going on with them, but fuel-wise, we're going to go 1 lap under. So we're going to go negative for 1 lap fuel to be a little bit lighter and more aggressive at the start. But I'm hoping my tyres are the X factor here. And maybe some of the guys might two-stop. You never know. In last year's game, they would do some pretty comfortable two-stops, I'd say. And they didn't really make much sense, but somehow they would benefit me. So I'm going to try and win this race. We're going to try and get a good start in the mediums, hopefully, and just take it lap by lap. It is Monaco, so don't expect a 5-star race. You never know. It could be, but don't expect it. And we're going to just see how we can get on. And we might just be sitting behind cars for a long time on the mediums, waiting for their softs to fade, and then we'll try and pounce on these medium tyres. So that being said, though, let's jump into it here and let's see how we get on in the Principality. And it's now time for the jewel in the crown of the F1 calendar. It's time for the Monaco Grand Prix. Right, here we go. The lights are on as we build up the revs to the sweet spot for the 5 red lights. And we are underway here at Monaco. And it's a pretty average start from us, but we are on the harder tyres. Verstappen down the inside here. He's going to try and make the move. I'm going to try and go around the outside. Can we stay in front of Max? It's going to be race critical that we don't let the Red Bull get by. If we can avoid it. But Max does get the job done around the outside. Also, Lucas Webber has taken first place for Red Bull, which is quite surprising. Although right now he's going side by side with Devon Butler here. The 2 F2 graduates fighting for first place, and Vettel not too far behind into the Lowe's hairpin then for the first time. Let's see how we get on. But so far, a poor start from us, losing a position there. Not what I expected, not in my plans, as we've got a yellow flag behind. I'm guessing just purely down to how slow the cars are going through the Lowe's hairpin.
Okay, we're through the start phase. Now let's build on it.
Indeed, now we're going to try and build on it if we can, and hopefully we can do well. Devon Butler has in the end taken first place back from Lucas Webber there. So my best mate, ironically, you could say, has taken first place here at Monaco. Hopefully he doesn't win, because I'll never hear the end of it, so hopefully we can do something about it. But at the minute, it's all about just trying to stay in the race. These guys are going to have the advantage at first on the soft tyres. Hopefully we'll come into the race though, as Hamilton is actually behind Ricciardo here. Very wide, they almost hit the wall at Raskas. Just trying to get these mediums switched on. Hopefully we'll come into the race in a couple of laps time, and we can try and make something happen. But for now, it's time to follow the train and follow the leader. At the minute, the front 4 do have good pace. Everyone's saying purple laps here at the minute, and
DRS is now enabled and will be available to use when you are within 1 second of the car ahead in the DRS zone.
we're about 7/10 off the pace at the minute. We did set a purple final sector, which is, quite promising, but we lose a lot of time elsewhere. So let's try and pick up the pace here if we can, as DRS is now enabled. It's important to stay within range, of course. Lucas Webber keeping the pressure on Devon Butler as well, which is good to see. Hopefully that's not the end of that battle, and we get to see a few more shenanigans kick off, and that would help us all out.
Power from the engine is going to be down slightly and showing some minor wear.
Yep, that's going to be a factor as well. Of course, the power units, they're 6 races old now, and the parts and the wear and tear are starting to show. Luckily, this is one of the tracks where we don't really notice it that much though, but the next one might be a big issue at Canada, a power circuit. At the minute, I'm barely saving fuel, which is a little bit of a concern, because we might have gone a little bit too light. Personal best again, and another purple final sector, down to the 13.3 now, so we're picking up pace here. Verstappen's dropping off as Hamilton makes the move from Ricciardo behind us. But Verstappen is dropping off from Sebastian here, so looks like we must up at the pressure on the Red Bull driver here very soon. I'm going to try and see if I can make some adjustments to my driving, and try and use some higher gears and still have the same pace. At the minute it's working, but use some higher gears to try and save some fuel. But there we go, we're within DRS for the first time of Max Verstappen here, so hopefully the pressure can start to build. Okay, we're really putting the pressure on Max here, and really starting to get close to him. Hopefully we can get a run on the pitch straight, although I think he might get DRS off of Sebastian, which is not going to help. But hopefully we can try and make something happen here. Another personal best middle sector. I'm going to use first gear. I wouldn't normally, I'm trying to save fuel here, but I'm putting the pressure on Max, so I want to use more aggressive gears. Here we go. Max doesn't have DRS, so this is my chance before he gets too close to Seb. Here we go. We've got the run. We're going to go to the inside. Into turn 1, down the inside. That's late, but we're going to get it done on the brakes. A little bit hot, but we are past Verstappen, so there you go. You can overtake at Monaco, as we've just proven, and the medium tyres are already paying dividends.
Good job.
Cheers, Jeff. The medium's paying dividends, as we already have a bit more of an advantage on pace. I think the softs are already starting to fade here, so this is going to really help us out in this race, I think. Seems like Butler doesn't have much pace in that Mercedes, and in race trim it is struggling, as we're closing up here. Also, Seb's close right up to Webber as well there, so that front three looking very close, although Lucas Webber does seem to have the pace. He's looked quick all weekend, my former teammate, so let's see if they engage in a bit of a battle here, but we're starting to close up and also pull away from Verstappen now, as Hamilton also makes progress and he's actually catching up to us now. So we've bunched right up now with these guys. It's going to be tricky to pass Seb in the same machinery, and he's got DRS on the car in front, so this is when it's going to get a little bit more frustrating now when it comes to making overtakes, and we might have to start pulling out the special moves in unorthodox corners, because at the minute I don't think it's going to happen on the pit straight. Oh, just a little touch there on the back of Vettel's car. Really starting to lean in and put the pressure on. Maybe into Raskas, that could be a possible overtaking opportunity through the swimming pool. No way through just yet. I'm going to try and just sit back for now. And oh, Seb pits in, so there you go. Seb could be a two-stopper.
Sebastian is in the pits.
Also, I just realised my ERS is extremely low, so we're going to run that in none for a little bit just to save some battery. But Seb pits, so that's probably going to be a two-stop. Hopefully he feeds out in clean air, because if he gets caught in traffic, it's going to be game over for him, and I really don't want that for him, so hopefully he feeds out in clean air. Meanwhile, we're now up to P3, and we're going to get a clean run at Lucas Webber and Devon Butler here, so you know what, this is working out so far. We got past Verstappen after losing that position at the start. We're now ahead of Seb due to strategy differences. Will Webber or Butler be on a two-stop as well? I guess we'll find out, but that soft tyre doesn't seem to be working, because I've got way more pace at the minute. And, you know, the tyre life estimate was only 13 laps, and they've done a qualifying lap on that tyre, so surely they're going to have to two-stop. Then again, having said that, the Ferrari, which I'm driving, I've noticed is probably the worst out of the big three teams in terms of tyre wear. It chews for its tyres a little bit more, so it's an interesting balance, an interesting dynamic, but let's see if Webber or Butler pit here on this lap. Surely they will. I think a one-stop with softs is a bit of a stretch, although the hards do go on forever, but there you go, they both come in. So surely two stoppers, 30 laps on a set of hards is a little bit too much. Either way though, we're going to take the lead of the Monaco Grand Prix, and like I said before, the X factor of me getting through in Q2 on these tyres is going to be a big game changer, and it might work out for us. So let's try and set the pace now. Let's see if we've got any few personal bests left in us, because if we've got any personal bests left in us, now's the chance to deploy them. So let's get to work. There we go, Max Verstappen pits in. So that's the last of the big guns to come in. So we're running solo here out front at Monaco. What a great experience in a Ferrari, leading Monaco, drink it in. At the moment we need to pick up the pace here and try and go faster while saving ERS, because I'm burning through my battery quite quickly. But also I've looked at the minimap and all of the big boys have fed out in traffic, and we was, you know, in amongst that, so we need to find more pace. You'll see it now on the crossover. There's Sainz, and then there is Vettel at the back of the train. So I think Vettel has undercut everybody by coming in that lap earlier. He's managed to undercut Butler and Webber. So you can see Seb there, he's behind 4 cars there, so we've got work to do to try and clear those guys when we come in for our hard tyres. And if we are going to pit in and come out of traffic, hopefully,
we're leading our teammate by 16.8 seconds.
See, that's not enough. Hopefully though, we come out right behind Seb if we are going to pit in, and that'd be us roll plates for the rest of the race.
Box, we're coming in this lap.
There's the message, as we're going to pit in this lap. We've done our stint now in the mediums. We're going to try and push on this in lap as much as I can. We've got a nice good gap here. This could work out, similar to Spain, by going long. It might play big dividends for us. Here we go then, through the swimming pool, keep it nice and tidy here. Into none.
Remember, box this lap. Keep an eye on your distance to the speed limit line as you approach, and make sure you don't speed.
There we go, into the pit lane, nice and easy. Lead mix, and also trying to save some fuel on. Right, let's see how we go. Come on. Away we go.
Go.
Nice and easy. Right, I think we've done enough here, boys. Here comes Kvyat. He's got Norris behind and Vettel right behind him, and then Devon Butler as well. They're all very close. but I think we've done enough. I think we've got just enough of a gap. Kvyat and Norris will probably pit in. It's going to be very close, but I think we've done the job.
That was our last stop. No more scheduled pit stops.
Yeah, we've done it. There we go. At the pit exit on the hards, and there we go. Kvyat and Norris actually stay out. So Vettel and Butler are stuck behind, and we rejoin back in P1 on the hards, going to the end of the race on the one-stop strategy. These tyres are going to be horrible to use, but we are going to have, the strategy advantage. So there we go, job done. Very, very good strategy. And again, the call in qualifying pays off. Taking the risk on the mediums in Q2 pays big dividends for us. And looks like now the win is in our hands and it's ours to lose. I'm pushing on here with these hard tyres. I'm not running max engine modes, but I want to see if I can snatch a fastest lap at the race on these, because everyone's caught up in traffic, so we might have a chance this race of getting the extra point for the fastest lap. Here we go at the final corner. Let's see if we did enough in the final sector up to the line. No, we didn't. 13.2. We're going to have to probably use higher engine modes then if we want to get anywhere near that. So I'll try and save some fuel, and we'll focus on getting that fastest lap.
Okay, you're creating some breathing space between you and the car behind by a few seconds per lap.
Yep, seems like Kvyat and Norris are still refusing to pit, so Seb and Butler can't get past. The good news is though, is that at the minute Seb is P2, so again it's looking like another 1-2 for us. There we go, fuel was finally back on positive. Been running lean a few laps here while we've got the clean air, and no pressure from behind. Now we can start preparing that fastest lap and cooking it up and see if we can try and serve it up. Okay, so everybody's pit in, so there you go. Sebastian Vettel's currently P2, Lucas Webber's P3, so he's overtaken Devin Butler there for the last step on the podium. So at the minute it's looking like a 3-1-2. You can see Seb there on the minimap, he's got a nice gap behind, so at the minute it's looking comfortable for us, which is good news. Hopefully it stays that way. Right, we're going to tap the engine here. We're going to give this fastest lap a crack. See if we can snatch it. Can't lie, it wasn't a good lap. Very scruffy. And we don't even improve.
Keep it up.
Right then, we'll try and have a go at that later on in the race once the car's lightened up plenty. But for now, back to low engine modes. There's a good chance to save the engine this race and keep the wear down.
Sebastian's in for his stop.
There we go. Seb comes in. That's going to be him and also all the others that are on the two-stop strategy coming in now for their final stops. So again, they're going to have to get through traffic, and those who are one-stopping like myself might get in their way. People like Carlos Sainz, for example, who is currently in P3. So this could be interesting. Either way, though, it's looking good for us in terms of winning the race. And also, we're going to have a massive gap now to Carlos Sainz, because he's going to be in a net P2, I believe.
At the moment, the car behind us is lapping faster than us by around 1 second per lap.
That's fine by me. I'm not too concerned about that. I'm trying to save fuel on ERS.
We're leading our teammate by 24.4 seconds.
There we go. Seb sets the pace, so he's going to get the extra point, which is good. Hopefully it stays that way. So he's obviously in some form of clean air at the minute, being able to set that lap time. And another lap from Vettel there, 12.4. Good to see. As I think Lucas Webber just pit on that lap, so Sainz is currently P2, a net P2, and Sergio Perez is a net P3.
Our tyre data is looking positive so far. We think there's plenty of life left in these for the moment.
Yeah, it does feel that way. These tyres can pretty much go forever around here, so we're just running at a nice consistent pace. We're pretty much cruising around Monaco and just taking in the sights. Oh, there we go. Devin Butler's P2, Seb's P3. So Sainz and Perez couldn't one-stop it and they've had to pit in, I'm guessing for soft tyres. So there you go, the normal order is kind of resumed. And Devin Butler P2, Seb P3, but he's got the quickest lap of the race. Hopefully Seb can try and get back past Devin Butler and make it a 1-2 for the team. A couple of cars in the pit lane there that we're going to lap and have no trouble with, which is good, so we don't have to pass them on track. Less risk. Seb is only 3/10 behind Devin at the minute, so he's really putting under serious pressure here. Hopefully he can make him crack. Maybe a little mistake or something, a little lock up from Devin Butler.
Yellow flag.
Oh, yeah, yellow flag zone here.
Caution, caution, yellow flags ahead. No overtaking through the caution zone. Be careful until you see the greens.
I wonder if someone's got a puncture maybe. Looks like
Some
a Williams.
on Russell. They're retiring from the race.
Okay, so he's out of the race. He must have a car failure.
Green flag.
Here we go then, guys. It's been an absolute masterclass as we now go on to the last lap of the Grand Prix.
Final lap of the race.
Indeed it is. Let's bring it home and try and secure the W. Come on. Here we go then. Into the final sector now. A great weekend. Everything was calculated and measured and it's worked out to perfection. Here we go then, 2 corners to go into Raskas. Nice and easy through there. Engine is turned right down into the final corner, and we are going to win the Monaco Grand Prix. Grazie ragazzi, 2 vittorie consecutive. Grazie a tutti, la macchina è stata fortissima.
That's a race win and your second race win in a row. Fantastic job.
Grazie a tutti. Grande lavoro.
That's a fantastic performance from Ferrari. It hardly looked in doubt. Anthony Davidson, what helped them deliver this result, do you think?
Well, this was a real team victory. They put together a solid strategy today that appeared well suited to the conditions out on track. The driver did everything that was expected of them in the moment to really execute the team's plan to perfection, a shining example of how F1 really is a team sport.
Here come our winners now. A thrilling race and a tremendous effort by Ferrari. Their history is well known, so it's no surprise to fans the world over to see them come out on top once again.
That was a pretty close finish with your old F2 rival. You two are pretty competitive, aren't you? You left a lot of paint on the walls today. Were you struggling for grip, or did you just misjudge some corners? Great, well that's everything.
Right guys, here we have the final race results. I do apologise for a little bit of lag there in the cutscenes, but not much I can do about it, unfortunately. This game is quite tough to run on my PC, and my PC is very old now. But with that aside, let's focus on the race results as we win the Monaco Grand Prix here. 2 in a row for us this season, and I think I'm going to go back up to 110% AI in the next race. Even though, I will admit, the pace has been very close, and dare I say, I'm not the quickest. If you look at the lap times, you look at qualifying, I haven't been the quickest. I'm going to try and go to 110 for the next race in Canada, and we'll try and take it from there. Now, Devon Butler got P2, my fierce rival. We managed to hold off and fend off Sebastian Vettel, but still a 1-3 for us. We outscore Mercedes as Hamilton gets P4, so in my opinion, it's a good race and a good weekend's work. Lucas Webber from P2 on the grid, only P5, a disappointing race for him in the Red Bull, and then we've got Perez Sainz behind him, and then Max Verstappen, only P8, very poor race as well in the other Red Bull, and then Lando Norris and Kimi Raikkonen round out the points, and no Renaults in the points, actually quite surprising, but nonetheless, let's look at see what this race means for the Drivers' Championship, and let's see how things shake up and stack up. And Vettel now retakes first place. He's 1 point clear at the top of the table, and he retakes first spot from Lewis Hamilton. We are closing down the gap now, and we are 19 points behind Seb and 18 points behind Lewis Hamilton, so we are closing down and making good progress here in these last 2 races. Also, we are now 17 points clear of Devon Butler as well, so making good progress there, pulling away from my rival. In terms of the Constructors' Championship, we are now 18 points clear of the Silver Arrows, and we're just starting to get a little bit of breathing room there in the Constructors' Championship. But yeah guys, that is going to be it for this video and this episode of Criminal. I'm going to try and save up some R&D points for a big upgrade package down the line. But if you guys did enjoy this video, drop a like, and also get subscribed for daily Formula 1 and MotoGP content, and turn on notifications to not miss a video from me if you are new to the channel, guys. Also, finally check out these 2 videos on your screen if you have missed them. But other than that, guys, thank you for watching this episode of Career Mode, and I'll see you in my next one very soon. But until then, it's goodbye from me.